Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all my Cardfight Vanguard Codex Stoeirhaja deck profile. Big thanks to my buddy Nick for letting me borrow his Stoeirhaja Codex deck. This is one of the Youthquake decks, a Stoeirhaja deck that focuses on using order cards to gain multiple attack plays, and depending on the Codex that you used, giving you an additional ability for your Vanguard, along with some other power-up bonuses as well. It's a really interesting deck for the Youthquake lineup, and one I would say definitely a fan favorite from the Dimensional Transcendence booster set. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the ride deck, we have the energy generator, as usual. Our grade 0 is Umdumbara Flower Banana when wrote upon. If you went second, draw a card. Our grade 1 is Kusumamala Lamp when wrote upon by Luminari Gamga. You look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 grade 3 or greater card with Stoeirhaja and its card name, or 1 codex card from among them, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. So search power, depending on the cards you may want in the deck, pretty standard for the grade 1 ride deck target. And our grade 2 is Luminari Gamga when wrote upon by a grade 3 with Stoeirhaja and its card name. Soul Blast 1, search your deck for up to 1 codex card, reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle your deck. So more of just a guaranteed codex search using this grade 2, with our grade 3 being Venerable Stoeirhaja. We have the copy in the ride deck along with the additional copies that we run in the main deck as well. But before we get to the actual codex or the grade 3s, I figured we would talk about the actual codex cards themselves, since they are a very important part of the deck. So 3 copies of the Principle of Non-Self. With this card, you play it if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Stoeirhaja and its card name, and if you do not play an order with the same card name as this card this turn. With this card, you choose a grade 3 or less from your drop, call to rearguard until the end of turn. This card, it gets plus 5,000, and if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, it gets auto rearguard once per turn. When this unit stood by your card's ability, it gets a critical plus 1 till the end of turn, and making it so you have an added option for extra critical pressure using this grade 3 order. The other codex card we run is the Principles of Unsatisfactoriness. If you play this, if you have a grade 3 with Stoeirhaja and its card name, and you do not play an order with the same card name this turn, until the end of your opponent's next turn, your opponent gets all your Vanguards get minus 3,000 power. If you played another codex order this turn, Soul Blast 2, draw a card until the end of your opponent's next turn, your opponent gets all your Vanguards get drive minus 1. So that is an opponent affected ability as well. So regardless of what Vanguard they may be attacking with, it'll have drive minus 1. The 3,000 power, putting your opponent's Vanguard at a 10k base, also helps for some of your units to at least be able to hit into that Vanguard as well, depending on the power scale that they'll be going up against also. For the grade 3s, we're running 3 additional copies of Venerable Stoeirhaja. On the Vanguard during your turn, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater and you played a codex order this turn, all your front row gets plus 5,000 power. And on Vanguard once per turn, when you play a normal order, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater until end of turn, you can play an additional order this turn and cannot play orders other than codex orders. So this is meant so you can activate both of the different codex orders in the same turn, having the restand power for the one and then the weakening of your opponent's Vanguard with the other. And on Vanguard, when this unit attacks, counter plus 1, choose one of your rear guards each time you played a codex order this turn and stand it. So that is a potential 2 of stand for the 2 codexes you played also, for you to be able to restand with your Vanguard. As I said, it's a very pressured playstyle. You have the codex to use their own abilities, and then the restand power of the Vanguard on top of the additional order play that you can do also. For the other grade 3s, ideally I do want to run 4 copies of Hurtful Pompilidio. With this card on rearguard, if this unit gets plus 5 for each time you played a codex order this turn, it can be a plus 10 power if you use the 2. And from the front row, rearguard once per turn, or not even once per turn, when your Vanguard is attacked by your opponent's rearguard, retire this unit, choose one of your opponent's rearguards, and decrease that unit's power by that unit's original power until the end of turn. So this card just helps with the minus ability, making it as another defensive option, as well as an offensive option on your turn, but defensive during your opponent's turn to go up against your opponent's Vanguard for weakening their power down. For the grade 2s, we're running 4 copies of Flyover Vivertaka. When this unit is placed on rearguard, counterblast 1, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 codex card from among them, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle the deck. If you do not reveal a card, draw a card. So even if you invest in the counterblast, you won't be missing out on a card because you still will be getting the potential draw, but it's just search so you can get the proper codex orders for you to be able to use 2 in the same turn with your grade 3 Vanguard. And also on rearguard, this unit gets plus 5 for each time you played a codex order this turn, very similar to the grade 3 as well, for the additional power boost that it can keep providing. We're also running 3 copies of the Azure Sky White Scale Asperonia Saphira. When it's placed on rearguard from hand, other than during the battle phase, look at the top card of your deck, put it on the top deck or discard it, counterblast 1 and perform one of the following. Choose a normal order card from your drop, put it into your hand, or choose a grade 2 or greater card from your drop and call to rearguard. Rearguard setup, or being able to add back our normal orders as well to reuse. Very, very useful in this deck, especially being able to add back the different principal codex orders using this card also. And also running 3 additional copies of Luminary Gamga. On the rearguard, when it's placed on rear, if you played a codex order this turn, soul charge 1, and it gets +5 until the end of turn. So just more of an attack boost card added backup as well. One card I was debating adding additionally and not running this card was the Flower Storm Dragon. If you want to place this in when it's discarded from hand during your turn, if your Vanguard is grade 2 or greater, Soul Blast 1, call this card to rearguard. If it's your battle phase, it cannot attack until the end of turn, but still set up, and if an order was put into the drops on this turn, it gets boost. So it may not be able to attack, but it can provide boost if placed in the back row rearguard as well with this ability. And then for the grade 1s, running 4 copies of Persist Chlorophorus. On this card, on rearguard, at the end of the battle, this unit attacked or boosted. Put this unit in the soul, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 codex card from among them, reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle the deck. More search power for what I would say are the most important cards in the deck, being the codex orders that you want to run. So having this as just a potential card that can either boost or attack to begin with, you have the additional power boost or the weakening of your opponent's Vanguard to make it all the easier for this card to also be able to attack into your opponent to begin with. And for the last of the grade 1s, we have the 4 Sentinels. If you wanted to run the Custodial Dragons, you could fill in the full spots here or run the 1 additional Elementary Sanctitude. My buddy Nick is still putting the deck together. That's why he just has the starter deck perfect cards for this spot. But once again, it's meant to be the Custodial Dragon to begin with. And then for the rest of the deck, we have the triggers. He's going for a rainbow setup. I find that to be fine because you have the restand power for your Vanguard. So front triggers are very, very strong. And then you still want the hand consistency as well. We have the Aspiring Maiden Alana for the critical as well, for the additional put into soul +2 power ability. The 4 front triggers with the Frenzied Heiress with the additional 5k shield power that this card can get. And we chose the fronts for the 4 of, with the draw being the 3 of count. They have the 5k shield abilities, but still fronts having that extra pressure with your restanding rear guards to be able to attack again. You want that pressure and not to have to decide for which one to get the power. And then lastly, the 4 heals being the Cheery Support Elf and the over trigger being the Spiritual King Bright Sky for the added retire from the Guardian Circle for your opponent's cards. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. Once again, big thanks to my buddy Nick for letting me borrow the Stoeirhaja deck for the video. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Qualia out.